Down in Texas during the 1976 primary, they had me out knocking on doors. And I remember one kind of rural area. I'd been governor of California, but I wasn't all that well known in Texas. And I knocked on the door, and an old fellow in his undershirt and jeans came to the door, and I told him I was running for president. And having been in the occupation I'd been in for a number of years, I was kind of surprised when he asked me what I'd done for a living. And I told him I'd been an actor, and then he asked me what my name was. And I thought, well, maybe if I give him a hint. And so I said, well, my initials were RR. And with that, a face lit up, and he turned and he ran back into the house, and he was yelling, "Ma, Ma, come on out here quick. Roy Rogers is outside." I'm mindful, too, that bringing things to a good conclusion is always a tricky business. You were told that I was a sports announcer, WHO Des Moines. Well, back in those days, the great evangelist Aimee Semple McPherson was making a tour of the country holding revival meetings, and one of them in Des Moines. Now, the station thought it would be a good idea, an enterprising public relations man, to interview Aimee Semple McPherson. But why they picked a sports announcer to interview that noted evangelist, I'll never know. But there we stood in the studio, and I asked her several what I thought were appropriate questions, and then she answered graciously, but then went into a very fervent plea about the success of her meeting. And I sat down, until suddenly I heard her saying goodnight to our radio audience, and I looked up at the clock, and there were only 4 minutes to go. Well, I didn't know enough about Aimee Semple McPherson that I could fill 4 minutes. So I got up, and in those days of radio and disc jockeys and so forth, I started thanking the noted evangelist Aimee Semple McPherson and so forth, but I did like this, which means get a record ready. And the fellow out in the control room through the window reached out. There was always records around there for such contingencies, and picked one up and put it on the table. And I said, "Ladies and gentlemen, we conclude this broadcast by the noted evangelist Aimee Semple McPherson with a brief interlude of transcribed music." I expected nothing less than the Ave Maria. The Mills Brothers started singing Minnie the Moocher's Wedding Day. She never did say goodbye. She just slammed the studio door as she went out.